How you doing? Today, we tax the rich.
We cancel corporations.
And we get a very triggering wake-up call to the triggering nth degree. It all starts now.
Innovation is in our veins. Soon the whole world will know our names. Sharing our knowledge and freedom reign. We here for the people, you know it's our way. Setting foundations is part of the dream. It doesn't matter if you're new to the game. Listen up now, cause we all gon' say, elevate, 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 higher, elevate, 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 higher. We gon' rise up, we all gon' shine. Work through adversity, stay on the grind. Elevate, elevate, this is our time. Elevate, elevate.
Welcome to the Elevate Podcast, everyone. It's so great to have you all on one more time. It's your boy, Josh
Dalton.
And we're grateful to be back on with you another week.
Dude, we're here again, and it's been a crazy Wednesday for us. I know it comes out on Monday, but...
It's Thursday.
Oh my gosh, right. It's not even the normal night, dude. No. What a whirlwind week. Happy to be back, though. This is like the one part of the week where it's like consistent.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
I hear you. It's definitely been, I feel you on the craziness. My whole body's a mess now. I started coaching a local lacrosse team here in the city, and we had our first practice last night.
How'd that go?
A lot of fun. Boys are nice. They're a fun time.
Good stuff.
We got an awesome female goaltender. Shout out her, and she was a beast, man. She took over like at least 120 shots last night. Didn't complain once.
Straight up.
Usually for me, when I'm in practice, like, cause I'm a goalie as well, you know, I'll take about 20, 25, 30 shots, and then I'm like, I'm taking a water break here, boys.
Oh.
Every time. And then she just pumping. I was just getting pumped. And I was like, bro, I had to stop a few times. I'm like, are you good to keep going? Do you want a break? She's like, no, I'm good. I was like,
straight up.
All right, here we go.
Some people's dedication to sports is so like crazy. I love that for her.
Nothing but respect for that. And so
straight up,
love to see it, especially as a fellow goaltender. I was like, respect the hustle on that.
Absolutely.
But then the problem was I started realizing my body's catching up to me. And
we did not even 30.
I know. That's what's wrong with me, right? I did a drill where I'd be chasing the players on a breakaway. And I pulled my quad.
Not the coach hurting himself.
Yeah. I was like, on the first practice.
No.
I'm a mess, boys. So that was fun.
I love that for you.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good summer, and it's gonna be a packed summer, but it's gonna be a good one.
Are all the games local?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I guess local in terms of like Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
They are. Cool. So it'll be good. Lots of traveling and driving. Luckily, I got the old Tesla because it's going to be a lot of gas money.
Oh, my gosh. Dude.
Otherwise.
Literally everyone in the comments of our TikTok today, and I think maybe 2 days ago, which was like in regards to like buying homes like out of the area, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, if you want to have a big gas bill that is uncontrollable and car maintenance. And I was like, okay.
Literally trying to give you a solution. You just want to tell me it's not going to work. Okay. All right, fair enough.
All right, yeah, gas is expensive.
I hear you. We're all feeling it. So it was just tough. Like I guess we can go into that. This is a week. I knew our TikToks this week were going to get ruffle some feathers. Because we know the people that are listening to the show. We know that you know what we mean when we're talking about things, and we know that. We're not completely out to lunch on some of these things. We're literally just like offering solutions to people, right?
But TikTok's always those fun little sound bites.
Yeah,
don't have a lot of context.
Literally zero context. Purposely zero context to get the people going.
Absolutely, and it works.
And it works because look at all the ones just commenting saying,
"Yeah,
you guys are out to lunch. You're privileged."
Dog, I'm a first class idiot.
Yeah,
according to TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, aren't we all? I think that was my best part. I think that's my favorite text you sent me this week because you sent me a screenshot of a bunch of comments. Actually, that would have been today.
Oh, yeah.
And it was your comment that was associated with it that really...
Oh, my gosh. I literally got an email from Viewpoint on my saved search so I can figure out when things go on sale in my price range.
True.
Oh, my gosh.
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
There's none for 150.
Oh. Really? Yeah, that's. I posted the one of the. That's gonna be our roast of the week, which will be at the end of today's episode. I posted that comment, and you're just like, "True, we're just idiots."
Literally true.
So I was like, "Yeah, man, it's a wild time, and we are grateful to be here and have some good old fun times."
That's right. You don't gotta like us.
No, but
Just like our TikToks.
Yeah, just like our TikToks. And, like our content. And speaking of our content, we also want to offer a couple things today. We are actually going to be offering a Google link. Just kind of like essentially a Google question submission type of thing that we were just going to have you guys, if you're ever feeling up to something or you have something to say about something we've talked about on the podcast, feel free to submit it there.
Yeah, or question that you want answered.
Yeah, question you want to answer, all that stuff. Because we're going to start reading those aloud on the podcast that are a little more deliberate, that are actually going to help people instead of just laughing at people who laugh at us, and a little bit more value for the homies. So that's going to be at the end of the show notes at the end of this episode. Feel free to take a look. Because we gave a very vague recollection of what we're talking about today. But today we're going to be talking about how Florida is revoking Disney's tax privileges.
Is it only tax privileges, or was it like... I guess we'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, it's so much more than that.
Absolutely. Ooh. You see Netflix losing subscriptions left, right, and center, and their good old stock is taking a bit of a tank and going through the dirt. And then we're going to be talking about our friends over at the H3 podcast getting canceled.
That is such a wild card, literally, because who would have seen that coming? I mean, aside from
everyone else,
but like they never saw that. I don't think they ever saw that coming.
They legitimately believe that they were uncancelable.
I think.
And I was like, bro, if you keep trying to, we'll get into it.
Yeah, save it.
Save it. Anyways, so first our article, Florida ends Disney's tax privileges. Let's pull this sucker up. So Florida lawmakers vote to end Disney's tax privilege, self-governing status, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were like their own country.
Which I didn't know that. I legitimately didn't know it. And the craziest part we talked about before the show is that it's a Republican
led movement.
Yeah, revoking them, which is intriguing. Which we all, those who are following it know what produced it, and I get it. We're not going to touch on that today, but
yeah, talk amongst yourselves, or don't.
Yeah, or keep quiet, whatever you want. But here it goes. Florida's Republican-led Senate approved a bill on Wednesday that would eliminate the Walt Disney Company's special tax district that has allowed the company to self-govern its land.
They have their own tax district. That's crazy.
That's literally their own country.
That's, yeah.
What? Because there's other things that come up here. The Florida House is also expected to vote in favor of the legislation after Republican Governor Ron DeSantis announced Tuesday that lawmakers will be considering termination of all special districts that were announced in Florida prior to 1968, and that includes the Reedy Creek Improvement District. The special tax district allows Disney wide-ranging autonomy, including over local police, fire departments in its on its land, and its theme park sits in Orlando. It currently saves the company tens of millions of dollars a year in exemptions from various regulations, taxes, and fees, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing a person familiar with the company's finances.
Tens of millions of dollars a year. I mean, I'm sure Disney makes billions of dollars a year. I'm sure they're $1 billion company.
Yeah.
But that's still a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like that you noticed that, I think.
Definitely.
You noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Control the police and fire?
Yeah, that caught my attention.
Can they just say no? You can't come?
Yeah, no.
Like, do they have their own police?
It's a good question.
They have something called Aladdin's exception.
What?
I hate Disney.
Which
I hate
it's
Disney.
Not on the terms of, I guess it is on the terms of policing, where it's in the rules. I think it's called Aladdin's exception. I can check it. It is under no circumstances are Disney employees allowed to harm any guests in the park unless deemed necessary. And it's only Aladdin.
Only Aladdin's allowed? Like someone dressed as Aladdin has to come
Wait, what's
arrest
happening
you?
right now? What? Dude, I think
you're walking around
you're
a
making
Disney
this up.
park and you see Aladdin walking around, just bust his cheek.
Yeah.
Just take the first swing because he's coming for you. No, Aladdin is not allowed to kill Disney. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. That's really soothed my soul a little bit. So the title of the article is a Snopes article that Philip has pulled up, is the Aladdin exception. No, Aladdin is not allowed to kill Disney guests. Apparently, the rating is false. So They are allowed?
Yo, wait.
Wait, what? Either way, it's a Snopes article. Everything's false. I guess I'll preface this for those who are listening. We're about to read a segment out of the Disney handbook for
Actors.
Actors. Go for it.
Although we want every Disney guest to have fun, our number one priority is safety. Because of this, Aladdin will never under any circumstances kill a park guest unless it is absolutely necessary to save the lives of the greater number of park guests. This is referred to as Aladdin's exception.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Snopes it might be wrong on this. Wait, what?
That's literally, wait. Make the decision for yourselves.
No,
but
seriously, the website InsideMagic.net then published an article titled Disney Parks, Aladdin actors reportedly allowed to kill guests, writing, recently the Proud Disc Nerds Instagram account shared what it is perhaps one of the most unique paragraphs in the Disney Parks cast member handbook. The stipulation reportedly applies only to actors who portray Aladdin at Disney properties. Per the post, the handbook's park safety section purportedly reads, although we want every guest to have fun. Okay, we just read that. Fun and games aside, Disney has not confirmed at any point that this is actually in the cast member character handbook. But it seems like Aladdin's exception would be difficult to make up.
okay, if it was me, I would release my handbook and say it's not in here.
Right.
There's no way no one at Disney has it.
Seriously.
Disney's crazy.
Dude.
They want to get you into the little communities.
Yeah.
And they're going to send Aladdin loose. The next Purge movie.
Purge Disney.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, man, that
I
would
could
be
see it.
terrifying. Someone with an Aladdin mask coming chasing after me. Oh, man. I can show you the world of death.
Yeah. Disney's spooky, man. They're too big of a... They're literally... This, I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah.
They are, like, way too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so much money. And the fact that they get to operate like their own country.
Yeah. That.
How do you lobby a government that well?
Apparently. And especially they've had it since the 60s, you know, and...
Maybe it was easier then to... I don't know.
Definitely. But I'm curious, like, they got some type of foothold, stranglehold on Florida, and Florida said no more. We're doing what we do, and you can screw off. And I'm like, shoot.
And also just like... Maybe it's because in the 60s, maybe Florida relied heavily on the fact that Disney was in Orlando.
Right.
But, I mean, for the last 20 years, how long has Orlando been its own?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like...
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was very specific, too, which I thought was most interesting, was them having their own power plant.
Oh, yeah.
And they also have, like, you said that we read earlier, like, they don't have any building permits. Like, they don't need to.
Yeah, because of, where is it? How they have autonomy over their theme park and the land where it sits. They just do what they want.
And I think you talked about it a few episodes ago where you also can't fly airplanes over it.
Nope, there's no fly zone.
No fly zone.
Yeah.
Dang. I only hear of no fly zones in, like, war.
Like over, like, the Pentagon.
Yeah. Or, like, I don't know, Area 51.
Right.
Like, what? But this?
Disney.
The Disney, man. Can't have flights over that sucker.
What if Disney's been Area 51 this whole time? What if this is, like, blowing up their spot?
Oh.
What if the reason why they had this autonomy was because they were, like, helping the government at the time? What was a major event happening in the 60s? Did anything bad happen that the government might have wanted to hide?
JFK's assassination?
Oh, was that then?
Pretty sure that was the 60s, wasn't it? Fact check.
Yeah, let's find out. Oh, 63. Yeah, 4 years later. And Disney got full autonomy. That's what it is.
You can mark that right here.
As a fact. It just seems too good.
Yeah.
And that's every business's dream.
Yeah, is just to, like, self-sufficient from the government.
Whatever you want to do, no questions asked.
We will always look the other way.
Always. And save you tens of millions of dollars a year.
Mm-hmm. Especially, we'll even look the other way when you have many huge, big-name executives touching children.
And did they?
Oh, so many of them have gotten caught and got thrown in jail over the past 2 months.
What?
Yeah, dude. It's ugly over there.
Ooh.
So I'm like, bro,
That's no good.
Government's not looking the other way no more.
That's not good.
Isn't that weird? a children's run thing. There's a bunch of pedophiles running it, man. Okay, I shouldn't say that like that, but there's people who have pedophilia intentions that happen to work in Disney.
And I wish that was the reason this was happening and not what we're not going to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad it's happening at the end of the day.
Yeah, because as we said, corporations shouldn't have this kind of autonomy. That's crazy.
And I'm all for capitalism. Straight up. I'm all for it. I appreciate it. But I hate corporations controlling the world.
Yeah, because that's literally not...
That's not business.
No.
That is
it's full on population control.
It's sick in the worst way. It's demented sick.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not the same.
And the stuff people get away with when they have that kind of power is scary.
Terrifying. This is such an example of how corporations can supersede government. Literally. For how long is that? 60 years?
Not nuts.
For 60 years. Shy of it by 5. Yeah. But almost 6 years straight. They can do whatever they wanted. When did Walt Disney die himself?
Good question.
Did he do this?
I think he was dead by the 60s.
No.
1966? No.
The next year.
This is weird.
He died December 15th, 1966. The next year, Disney is
full autonomy, tax privileges.
What?
Yo.
Why? What if he had books and stuff written or notes on the government and his children, the heirs were ready to spill?
Gotcha.
If they didn't. What if?
Yeah, what if?
That's crazy.
That is kind of weird timing. I'm not gonna lie.
Didn't he freeze his body?
Yes. People are saying, people say that Disney's, at least head, is cryogenically frozen so that way it could be put on. I don't know why.
Where are they putting it?
I don't know. But that's why Disney released the movie Frozen, so that way when you Google Disney's Frozen, the movie showed up and not articles about him being frozen.
That's BS. There's no way. You think that's a thing?
Yes.
You think that was done on purpose? Specifically for that reason they made that movie?
Well, because before that, whenever you would Google Disney anything.
Yeah. Frozen head.
Yeah. Because at the time period, I guess YouTube channels were blowing up that Frozen head. And it's not so much that I think Disney actually did it. It's that I think Disney wanted to direct attention away from that.
Right.
But it's funny.
It is funny. That's true.
Regardless, the fact that we could garner up 3 conspiracy theories in 5 minutes on one company speaks to the level of what this company will go to, the lengths they'll go to make sure they're taken care of.
Apparently, yeah, making it because Aladdin will be checking up on you.
Yeah, apparently, I like to.
They're probably sending Aladdin over to
Halifax,
right over to DeSantis' house, and be like, "Yo, we have to have a down conversation here, boys."
Yeah, and you're not gonna like it.
Yeah. Oh man, so that's I thought it was an interesting story to kind of touch on. And we'll see where that all goes.
I was listening to a lawyer on TikTok today say that, and this is the government's well within their right to take these away. Basically, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away type moment. So there's no recourse that Disney can even seek. It just is what it is. They say so. As long as it passes, they say so.
Right. So it's kind of live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah. You enjoyed it, but now it's over, and that's it.
Yeah. You shouldn't have had it in the first place. So
yeah. So if it goes through, that's it.
Tax the rich, y'all.
Have you ever listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad talk about taxing the rich?
No.
His take is quite interesting.
Okay. I'll hear about it.
Basically, it's when you say tax the rich, he breaks it down quite simply. Most rich people or wealthy people don't have income.
Right.
So there's nothing to tax. Mm-hmm. So when he says, these people are wasting their time talking about taxing the rich, what your message should be is tax rather than income tax the wealthy, you want a wealth tax, which that will never happen.
Yeah.
I don't think there will ever be a wealth tax.
Yeah, simply because that also just screw over everybody else.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi would be quaking.
Yeah.
She couldn't handle that. Oh my gosh.
Well, actually reminds you of the image I sent over to you earlier from your favorite man.
Oh yeah, from Grant Cardone.
Yeah. You know, he said it pretty simply. I thought that was interesting. So he's like, let me get this straight. He says, I'm paying taxes on my wages, then paying sales tax to spend my own money, then paying income tax on money that was already taxed. Then when I die, my kids pay the death tax on my money that was already taxed. And then people hate on me for doing everything I can to reduce my taxes.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I don't like Grant Cardone, but I agree with that.
Right.
I mean, really, how can you disagree with that?
Yeah.
He was taxed like 6 times before you die. You know, and it's true. And I didn't feel that until my grandmother passed away. And I realized how expensive it is to live and die.
Right.
It just, everyone wanted money. I was like, wow, there's just a tax for everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's crazy.
Oh. So I get it. Listen, I'm always for tax planning.
Yeah. As he winks at me. Tax planning. Here we go. All right. On to the next story here. Netflix.
This one I'm happy about. Netflix sucks.
Okay. So I'll get to that in about 2 seconds. But Netflix may ban shared accounts after losing 200,000 subscribers. An unexpectedly sharp drop in subscribers has Netflix considering changes it has long resisted, minimizing password sharing and creating a low-cost subscription supported by advertising. Oh, the last one's the party on that one, aren't they? Looming changes announced late Tuesday are designed to help Netflix regain momentum lost over the past year. Pandemic-driven lockdowns that drove binge watching have lifted, while deep-pocketed rivals such as Apple and Walt Disney have begun to chip away at its vast audience with their own streaming services. Netflix's customer base fell by 200,000 subs during the January-March quarter, the first contraction the streaming service has seen since it became available throughout most of the world other than China 6 years ago.
Not once did they say, maybe we just charge too much.
Oh, you think it's a pricing issue?
Dog, Netflix how much is Netflix now? It's like $16.99, isn't it?
I think they just upped the price too.
Yeah, every year. They're worse than landlords. Like, duh. It's too much.
That's well, yeah. Let's check out the 5-day trend here on there, right here.
Oh no, subscription price.
Oh, it's up here. So I was also curious.
All right, plans and pricing. This is the one we want right here. Oh yeah, this is it too. Monthly, premium or basic. $20 for premium. What does that mean though? Before I open my loud mouth,
you get 4, you share on 4 different screens. Okay, here's the Canadian pricing. Here you go.
Oh my!
So the basic is still $10. You get one screen to watch on, and you can download on one phone.
No HD.
No HD included. The standard version is $16.50 Canadian. You can watch on 2 screens. Download on 2 different phones, and you can watch on your laptop. And you do happen to get HD.
Great.
Premium, $29.99.
4 screens, 4 downloads. Ultra HD available.
$21 now.
Because let's be honest, number of screens you can watch at the same time. 4. So in my situation, and I don't want to speak for you, but maybe in your situation where there's 2 of you in your household, you could probably do standard. But if you have kids, you need premium. Like there's too many people now. And they're literally what does it cost Netflix extra to let you be watching at the same time?
Yeah.
Really, right? So to me, $20.99, you can pay less than that for Crave.
Yeah.
I think Crave is way better, at least for like the type of shows I want to watch.
Yeah.
And then you've got things exactly like Disney Plus and Apple TV and all these other things that are not as expensive.
Yeah.
I think Disney Plus is $11.
Yeah, they just increased it the other day. $11.99 now.
Annual, $80 a year.
That's the old cost, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
if you go above, here we go.
Yeah,
$11.99 per month or $120 annually.
Got it.
So it's still cheaper than Netflix, and you have unlimited sharing.
I just don't agree with the whole Netflix is like, oh, COVID ended, and we were banking on COVID lasting forever. Like,
It's a weak
That's
excuse.
weak.
Yeah.
And then number 2, they want to go on and say, what was the other thing they said? While Apple and Walt Disney have begun to like pick at their whatever, I'll be honest, Apple and Disney are the worst competition. Prime Video is way, I think, higher competition. So that I think is weird too. And now they want to cut out password sharing. It's like that's the only reason people password share is because it's too expensive.
Yeah. That'll solve it. Yeah.
Like now, those people now will stop. Like it's what?
Yeah, it's like as you said. I don't really. I'm not sad that
Me
they're
either.
losing subscribers because, yeah, as you said, they keep charging, they keep increasing. I'm still trying to figure out why
And
and what
I
I'm getting
don't-
back for it.
I don't enjoy anything on the platform anymore.
Yeah, there's a very few I actually like to watch. Very few people actually like watching it.
Yep.
And they're the most expensive streaming service out of all of them,
Yep.
which is kind of nuts.
Netflix gives me this like we were first vibe. We can do what we want vibe type thing, and it's oddly reminiscent of a Blockbuster moment where Blockbuster, what they thought they were. I'm not saying it was going to happen, but they were in their minds undefeatable. Like, and just there was nothing that could be better. And I think that's a bad way to look at what they're deeming a drastic drop in followers or subscribers.
Yeah. No, it's could you also pull up the stock price too? I'm curious. The last 5-day trend. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm happy it came to them because they also had a wicked unfair advantage during COVID too. That's a cliff. They had a ridiculously unfair advantage through COVID. Everyone was just at home, and so they were one of the few businesses that just boomed through COVID.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, good thing. I'm glad it's dropping off. Their stock price as of, April 20th
Dropped 150
was
bucks.
$350, and it went down to a little over 218. Yikes! That's $130. That's USD.
That's bad.
That was after their quarterly announcement came out, right? So,
Yep.
yikes.
And every investor just went,
See
sell.
That's a sale, boys. Yeah,
Dang. Wow. That's crazy.
it looks good on them.
Yeah. You know what? It is what it is. I think they're not innovative anymore. I just don't think they're innovative.
They're not offering anything. Every other platform,
Selling Sunset, baby.
every other platform right now has multiple originals going. Disney has had how many shows going in this past year? It
And
had-
every old thing you can watch on Disney is sick.
Yeah.
Like all the old stuff.
The
No.
only thing that Netflix had to offer was Friends, and then it lost Friends.
I know.
And
Did it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they still had it.
Not maybe in Canada.
Oh,
But
America.
Um,
American Netflix, I know, does not have it anymore, I don't think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
and then right now it still has The Office, but I think it's also losing The Office soon.
And it doesn't have all seasons.
No,
Can't
doesn't?
watch- No.
The only reason people had Netflix was because it had those shows that you could binge watch. It had originals. It had Stranger Things, all that stuff. Stranger
Yeah.
Things last season was announced like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it hasn't come out.
And now it's
people are done-
popular to watch Euphoria.
Yeah, and people are done waiting. Like, Netflix just simply isn't offering enough for its price.
Yeah.
And Disney Plus and Amazon is.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney Plus also has a fantastic system of doing 6 episodes
Mm.
weekly, so you'll at least subscribe for 2 months.
Yep.
6 episodes, you mean like they release them weekly? Release
Yeah,
one
like
weekly?
6. Yeah, once a week.
Yeah.
Like
6-part series.
Yeah.
That type of thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's, you're talking about it on the way over tonight. That's strategically played
Oh, yeah.
to make sure you get those 2-month subscriptions coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. Like, there's really nothing great on Netflix for the most part. I mean, shout out The Ultimatum.
Dog, I literally watch. I literally
That's
watch
it.
YouTube.
That's it. That's what I was saying. Like,
We pay for Crave.
dude,
That's it.
let's gonna go on a little bit of a tirade here, but Love is Blind season 2. Anyone who watched that?
Okay, we did watch Love is Blind during
Okay.
quarantine.
So I don't know if you watched season 2 though. Season 1 definitely came out during quarantine. But season 2, it was not as good as season 1, but it was all right. It was the final episode though, like the old meetup with everybody and the reunion, and the co-hosts Nick Lachey and I'm forgetting his wife's name. We're going off on one of the people on the show,
or whatever you want to call them.
I don't even know what you want to call him on this show. His name was Shake. And I'm not gonna lie, he was a bit of an obnoxious individual, and he had a lot of obnoxious things to say. But Nick and his wife were teeing off on this guy on this reunion, telling him how he's such a jerk and he doesn't value women, doesn't value relationships, this, that, the other. Like, there was a point, they're just going off. And then they turned to the camera. I was like, okay, now that we're done with that segment, we have a new show coming out called The Ultimatum, where we bring these couples to the spot where they can see if they want to actually marry each other or leave with somebody else. I was like, I hate you guys so much. You are ridiculous. Like, I lost so much respect. I was like, you spent off about this guy not valuing women in relationships, and then he turned around and produced this show? Come on, man. But I watched it.
Hate Netflix, dude. They do nothing. They don't do anything. The reason I bought Netflix originally was to watch Kenny versus Spenny.
No.
That's the only reason why.
Brutal. Yeah.
And I can't watch it on there. So
I can't.
no good to me.
It was something else, but yeah. So Netflix losing 200,000. Not surprised. Yeah, it will
Me
get
either.
worse.
Yep, I think so too.
Especially they had a couple weird kind of things happen, like even with the whole situation with the cuties and stuff. You know.
What?
Yeah, that was got a lot of flack. Was they produced a show, a bunch of really young girls who were in a beauty contest of sorts.
It was a dancing show.
It's a dancing show.
And they were actively twerking.
Yeah, it was very highly sexualized.
And they were kids?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 year olds.
No.
They got a lot of flack for that one. They had to take down that show.
Yikes.
As they should have. Again, as I'm saying, man, these big corporations, man, they do some weird stuff.
Who's in charge of these big companies? I'm
bunch of weirdos, man.
I'm not even 23, and I think I'm wildly more self-aware than any of these people who are paid way too much money.
Well, I think some of these people think it's very progressive.
No,
that's the argument. That's their argument, though.
Oh my gosh! If there's ever a time it's socially acceptable for that, I don't wish to partake. That's crazy. There's never what? How are you going to justify that?
A lot of people will.
That's crazy. They're sick. They're demented, and they will get theirs. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
I think
let kids be kids.
I lost my respect for Disney a couple years ago when they released a fully American stylized film about one of the biggest mass shootings in Norway.
Oh, I remember this.
22nd of July.
Yes.
And they just made it look like it was...
It was called Midsummer, right? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
And they just Americanized it, you mean? Or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, Americanize it, turn it into such a dramatic kind of court sit and all that stuff. And it was just...
No.
It's not a show. This was a real live thing,
It was a real live thing.
There
is Norwegian films there's one that's called Utøya, which is just the name of the island, where it is exactly as long as the entire shooting that happened, which is it's a really, I wouldn't say fantastic, but it's a really good film to represent how it was.
To
learn how it was.
Right.
And then Netflix comes in and produces a show where it's just we're going to get these actors to come in and dramatize this tragic thing that happened in Norway a couple of years ago.
Wait, so, sorry. I remember this movie. That actually happened. They went, these two guys showed up at a campsite, I remember, right?
One guy.
It was one guy showed up at a kid's camp and shot them up, right? Or shooting people up. That happened.
Yes. And Netflix has made a movie about it for profit.
Imagine if they did that to 9/11. There's not one American who would think that's okay. There's not one. And you ask an American 100 years from now about 9/11, and they will die on the flag saying how awful 9/11 was.
But didn't they do that, though? There's a bunch of movies that came about 9/11.
There are a couple, yeah.
But are they in poor taste?
I don't know if it's about poor taste. It depends, I guess. It depends your perspective. Obviously, you have Philip here, who's from Norway, who really thought that was an out of touch movie,
right?
Whereas I guess these other American movies were very super patriotic, I guess. And it's
Good
America.
Point. Were there other people from Norway who thought that was a bad move?
Oh yeah, big. There
was it widespread among Norwegians that was not appropriate?
Yeah, pretty big, but it was also Norwegians that participated in it, which was questionable.
Oh.
So the actors and actresses were all Norwegian.
Some of them, yeah, but they're talking English.
Oh, it wasn't even, oh yeah. You just said it was American. Yeah, they were speaking English.
Wait, they don't speak English in Norway? I'm just kidding.
Because to me, it's just like if America was upset at these 9/11 movies, you would have known.
Right.
Like you would hear about that.
Well, yeah, think about even like Michael Moore, Fahrenheit 9/11. That was an interesting documentary. That could have been viewed as in poor taste.
I suppose.
It did pretty well.
Yeah.
It also had the Michael Moore slant to it, from what I understood.
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware of politics back then, so I can't really say one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know. It's that's crazy. I actually did not know that was a real thing.
So that's how good they made it, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Good.
Now I don't know how to feel about it. Now I feel weird.
Right.
And I'm sorry about the Midsummer joke. I didn't hear what you actually said, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good one." Oh,
It is a good movie though.
Josh,
I'm sorry.
You can't apologize for a joke. Okay, the internet just has to cancel you. Just let them cancel you.
Yeah,
I'll move on. Make an apology.
No,
Go on.
I'm not apologizing to anyone. The only person I'm apologizing is to my boy Philip, because he's a friend, and I don't make sure I don't hurt his feelings. All right, he's the only one I care about.
True.
I already quit the show once. Don't make me do it again.
No.
Oh man, we are firing on all cylinders tonight, boys. We do not care. This is what happens when you watch an Andrew Scholl stand up before.
If we have not said anything outlandish.
No, not to anything that he says, at least.
In general, I think by nature of three people who have lived different lives talking, we're gonna offend people. It's just, it is what it is, right? Like, can you? I just think it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
I totally understand it. I was just saying that I don't know. There's an extra feel of spice in the air tonight. I don't know what it is, but
well.
And I don't mind it. I think sometimes we need to let our personality shine a little bit. Sometimes we're a little too restrictive on what we say because we do want to be very cautious of people's feelings.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's okay to let loose a little bit. Especially on things you actually really do believe in.
Absolutely.
So here we go.
And these things are generally like, it's not as impactful.
Yeah.
You know, if I hate Disney and Netflix, that's not going to ruin anyone's life.
Absolutely. And I think, you know what, I'm going to flip these two just because this is going to move nicely into our next topic, is Ethan Klein being canceled.
Oh, I know.
Is very intriguing to me. Can we play that clip?
It's highly intriguing.
It's the Twitter one.
Sorry, Gary Stans. Today we have no sponsors because I am an existential threat to gay rights and all progress. So, of course, our wonderful fans have taken upon themselves to write all of our sponsors and to have them can't not sponsor or not to support us. So we are... I'm very, I'll just say this. I'm very thankful to our members. It makes this show kind of bulletproof to stuff like this, even though it's painful and emotionally, it's just painful that, people would do that. There it is. And, the other thing is like, you expect a little more of the sponsors in a way, but I get it. It's just transactional for them. But I feel like I put so much into our good partners, and it's kind of crazy when they just drop you like a bag of dirt over some bullshit. But
hypocrite! What a raging hypocrite!
Interesting, isn't it?
Wow.
So context, Ethan Klein is the co-host of the H3 podcast. It's been around a while. Like, they've been doing that since like 2010, 2009, something like that. They've been around a while. And they've officially been Ethan's officially been canceled because he's an existential threat to the LGBT community, apparently, his own words. And
his own word, literally.
Yeah. And I was like, interesting. They've come after him. And we were talking about this before the show. I personally have been kind of following H3 since probably about 2016. I really liked them back then because
his content was funny.
Their content was great. And the reason why it was great is because they pushed boundaries. They were very edgy.
Yes.
I didn't agree with everything they did, nor should I. But it was fun to watch.
Oh, the internet was so different then, though.
Their podcast was a different feel back then too.
Because it was like, what was a podcast?
Yeah, true.
To me, that's how it was to me. I was like, what are you doing?
Right.
Because it was happening at the same time as like where YouTube was becoming people's jobs. And then I was like, now I just have to listen to you?
Right.
What?
Where's the content?
Yeah. They were very ahead of their time.
Absolutely. And they had some really cool guests on and talked about really cool things. And,
Yep.
you know, I think one of their guests at one point was Jordan Peterson, and they wiped that episode off of the face of the planet.
Can it be found nowhere?
It probably could be found somewhere, but you can't find it in any of their official accounts.
Right.
You know, you do what you want, you know, but you can tell that was probably done out of pressure from people.
Yeah.
For sponsors threatening to leave. And as I said, I just don't like what they've turned into over the past few years. I feel like I think they got threatened hardcore by YouTube at various points, and they just kind of played ball.
Well, he sued YouTube.
Yeah, that was a big
And
thing.
won. Which was crazy.
That was
Copyright.
iconic. Yeah, because that was a huge, like, he was paving the way hardcore for
He
other
set
YouTubers.
up other YouTubers for success because of that.
Yeah.
Like he led that.
And then he just kind of went with YouTube, and it was kind of odd.
And he has just fallen into the same thing as every other influencer, which is if it's not 100% politically correct or aligning with me, which is such a selfish way to live life, that I'm publicly going to denounce you and actively support my followers canceling and berating you on the internet, etc. And you've over the last 2 years, you've seen him send his army to other followers, and you know he has this
Other
thing,
influencers. Yeah.
other influencers. He has this thing, and it's really weird that he'll talk about. Him and Trisha Paytas used to talk about all the time. His foot soldiers
Yeah.
off FeetWiki that will go and like downvote everyone else's like FeetWiki. That's psychotic.
A lot of power.
And it's weird. Weird. But those people definitely follow him to the other parts of the internet and are his soldiers elsewhere. And I just think, wow. And now he's getting a taste.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I guess it comes back down to what we've been talking about all night, where it's like, it's about time. You know,
It is about time.
you do reap what you sow. You've made your bed. You got to lie in it. You know, if that was what you're going to support in terms of tearing down other people and making sure they lose their livelihoods, well, it was going to come to you eventually. Because I remember Hurt said before is because the way they were kind of producing their content the past few years, they attracted a certain type of audience who is very in favor of like canceling people. And so at what point, if you start surrounding yourself with a lot of those types of people, what are they going to do to you at the end of the day?
There's 2 points. One is half of the people who do the canceling can never, ever take the heat back. I don't think half of them could take the heat of what it's like to be publicly canceled on the internet. I don't think I could, but I don't put myself in a position where I encourage others to do it. And I don't, do you think I get people to cancel people?
Oh, you ask other people. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh,
I
no.
thought you said you don't put yourself in a position to be canceled, and I was like, I don't know, man.
Oh, no. I have done that.
Yeah.
But I've never asked anyone to go and tear someone else down.
Right.
And that's point 2 is dimming someone else's light does not make yours shine brighter. And it's just so, like in my life, if someone got to a real estate deal before me, or my competition is killing it, bias and everything else aside, why does that affect me? I should have acted quicker. I should have got in faster, and I should have done it. If I wanted to have done it, I would have.
Yeah.
That's my fault. So why would I try and ruin their life because they're envious? It's envy, it's jealousy, it's a wishful thinking life, and it's just sad.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one situation that really kind of was the nail in the coffin for me for Ethan Klein. And it was his whole shenanigans that went down with Crowder.
I don't think I know. Is that
He's the conservative pundit. Well, I wouldn't say pundit, but he's a conservative commentator. He's on YouTube. He's like super. He's pretty edgy.
Oh.
He's the guy that sits down and like prove me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah,
And so, yeah, Steven Crowder was his name. And so,
I never knew his name.
yeah, so Ethan Klein did a thing where he's like, yeah, I'll debate you live on YouTube. And Crowder's like, sure. And so they jumped on, and apparently it was a whole thing. Like they had a whole 10-minute conversation before they actually went live, and it was like a pretty cordial conversation. Went really well. talking about each other's lives and asking each other's families. Like, it was pretty nice.
And the second it turned
As soon as
on.
it turned live, Ethan took himself off the air, brought in a liberal political commentator to debate Steven Crowder. And then like Ethan Klein just kind of sat in the background, just like chirping Crowder the whole time. And I was like, bro, that's such, I don't care what you think about whoever, like that's such a bad look.
Yeah,
like
weak.
If I was to debate somebody and I just like pull out and like, hey, you go in, and then I start chirping you because you can't, stand up to the points or whatever. I'm like, bro, like that looks rough.
That looks so rough. That's such a bad look.
And the whole thing was super cringe. Like everything, I was just like, it was like a train wreck. I was like, I don't want to watch, but I should. I want to. And it was just like, Crowder was cringe. Ethan was cringe. And I was like, oh, this is awful. But here we are.
Bad luck. Yeah. He's pulled out on creators before, though. Like, he's had multiple people lined up to be on his show.
Oh, really?
And would pull out in the last minute.
Dang.
Yeah.
Weird. It's kind of like that the BFFs podcast where the
With
girl,
Tana?
Yeah, Tana didn't show
Tana
up
Mojo
twice.
didn't, and she's the same excuse both times.
Yeah, I'm puking over here.
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
And my favorite part was Portnoy, just like absolutely savage, did not care, publicly shamed her on the show.
But do you know what?
What?
That just helped her.
Oh, it boosted her. Right?
Tana is uncancelable. Tana Mojo has done everything. She has called her black friend the N-word on camera and went, "Oh, sorry," and all she said was sorry. And we moved on. As a collective internet, we moved on. I don't know how she's managed it. She has done so much wrong on the internet, and she just keeps on keeping on.
See, I didn't know who she was until that BFFs thing. I have no idea who she. I still don't know who she is.
I've seen Tana Mojo since she did a video where she peed on Shane Dawson. She just squatted over him and peed on him. That was the video, and she was not 21.
Oh boy!
And no one said a peep.
Dang.
No one said a word.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I was watching, like this age that we've kind of come into, where like a lot of young people get really rich at such a young age. Like, that's never happened in our history, where it's like so many young people at once are all getting rich.
Yeah.
And it's really screwed with people. Like, there's some stuff like YouTube creators have done. Like, that's cranked. Like, the fact that someone would think that's a good idea, if you don't have like a solid support system in your life, you're gonna do some weird stuff, dude.
Well, for example, so Tana's background is that she does come from a family that was not there for her, and it was she had a very like rough upbringing.
Yeah.
And as she gained money, family tried to come back and hurt. You know what I mean? So like that typical.
Gotcha.
So I'm sure it was unbelievably hard to be 18 through 21 on the internet with a bunch of money but no support system. Mm-hmm. And then everyone on the internet calling you a failure, you're late to everything, you'd have no respect, you da-da-da-da. How could you set yourself up for success? But there are things that are beyond, like, that you just know you shouldn't do. And she did them all. And she's just gotten away with it.
That's so crazy.
She is uncancelable. Everything Dave said, I thought he looked like the biggest idiot. Everyone knows that about Tana. She is late to everything. And like, this is not new behavior. You can't, it doesn't matter. She doesn't care.
So do you think, okay, we were talking about before the show, I still think, like, I know he puts on this, like, this whole boomer character.
Yeah.
I legitimately, like, I don't think he legitimately knows her at all. I don't think he knew that.
And maybe he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you think of it, what business, I mean, she just turned 21 2 years ago.
Right.
So if he had been actively engaged in her beforehand and whatnot, you know, that'd be kind of weird. Like, you know, so I don't suspect he took any interest in what she was doing, because she was just like an 18-year-old girl doing like makeup hauls and random videos on the internet. Yeah. So then he probably didn't hear anything. But there's no way within the last 2 years that he did not know who Tana Mojo was.
Interesting.
There's no way you're involved in that space at all without knowing who she is.
Okay.
She has done it all. And yeah, it's, though I would never want to be in her position where there are so many people who hate her. She's very successful.
Fair play, and you can't.
She's very successful.
And you can't but you can't announce that. So
No.
a lot of people who I don't like, but I have to give.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hustle, man.
Yeah,
Good
like
fun.
she's not missing that missed episode of.
Yeah.
Like that didn't hurt her.
Yeah.
She's fine. Mm-hmm. And maybe the reason why Dave Portnoy has to do something like that, maybe he doesn't like when people are fine when they miss the thing that he's invited them to. Because he's the man who's got a bottle of Ace of Spades ready for when his competitors fail.
Right.
So he probably doesn't like it when other people can disregard him completely and be fine.
Right.
He's got an ego.
Okay. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, it was. I didn't know how we got there, but
Just as you listen, I could spend hours talking about YouTube and just like
You grew up on it.
And it's all I watch.
Right.
I've never ever watched like I find all my content that I find is on YouTube.
Didn't you buy all the Jake Paul merch back in the day?
Dude, absolutely. There were kids in school. I remember this, and maybe that's why I'm the way I am now. But like I remember I posted a picture of my Jake Paul merch, and I was like, "For all you haters, LOL," or something like that. And I didn't much know about Jake Paul or care, but I just knew that he made people a little upset. And so I thought, well, let's go. Whatever. Let's play into it. And this girl commented on the picture of my shirt that I went to high school with and was like, wow, I'm unfollowing you. Like, can't believe. So I posted the picture again and I tagged her and I was like, unfollow me before I post a third. Like, it's just close.
Like a God church, yo.
It's just close. So then I would buy more and I was like, I'm going to make everyone upset.
Right.
And I just found so much joy in the fact that people were that pressed about clothing.
Dang.
And but because it was from Jake Paul, and I was like, I mean, at that point, that was in like end of high school, beginning of my first year college, where he hadn't even done anything that had like all the stuff he's been canceled for has happened after that.
Right.
So I was like, why are we so pressed about him?
Right.
What is the big deal? So then I had to run with it because it's making people upset.
Dude. It's it reminded
That was
me
one of the first things you noticed when I came.
Dude, I chirped you so hard when you first came. I was like, bro, this guy's wearing YouTube merch.
Absolutely.
Who's mans? Someone get him.
Absolutely.
Someone come get him. Yeah, it was like, remind me because I watched the game 3 of the Raptors 76ers series last night. And knowing full well before the series started, like the Raptors were probably going to get absolutely smoked.
Sure, yeah.
And but like the big thing was obviously Embiid. This is the first time playing the Raptors in the playoffs since they got put out by Kawhi's shot.
Yep.
And so obviously like the fans, it was the first time playing in Toronto last night, and Philly ended up winning like on a prayer of a shot.
Yeah.
And and the game ended, they win, and Joel Embiid, he's a bit of an arrogant dude. He starts going to the court. He's like, yeah, let me hear you now, doing that whole thing. But then he was leaving the arena, or so you're leaving the court to go to the locker room, and like you have to go through the crowd essentially to go. Yeah. And he got so mad. Everyone was just chirping him, and I could tell. I'm like, this guy just won game 3. They're up 3-0 on the Raptors. They're most likely going to win the series. There's nothing to be mad about. Like, life's good. You just shut up this whole crowd, and people are chirping and let them chirp you. But he got so angry. He's like, everyone shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the F up.
And you look so stupid when you do that.
I know. I was like, they're still in your head, bro. You're up 3-0. You scored the game-winning shot, and you're still mad.
That's what it is. I was living rent-free in these people's minds, and I had to enjoy my stay. I had to.
You had to get that room service. Right?
Yes, man. It's so funny because it's like, why do you care? Why? Like, you're an NBA superstar.
Right, making millions.
Millions of dollars. And beyond the money, you are at the top of your craft.
Yeah.
You're one of the best. Relax. Like, what?
Life's good, brother.
Like, why does that matter? I'll never know.
We won't know. And do you know what else I'm not going to fully know? Is why everyone's getting so pressed about Elon Musk.
Oh, dude.
Securing $46 billion to buy Twitter.
Dude, I remember I got in a conversation or debate, whatever you want to call it, with a friend of mine who was like, no, he cannot buy Twitter. He'll have to take loans out against his shares, or he'll have to sell them, both of which will crash it, and it's just not going to happen. He doesn't have the money. He's not that rich. Like, it's all time. I'm like, it's Elon Musk.
Dude, he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. He knows bankers and that we will never see in our lives, probably. This man is on a different level of financial understanding and connections. He's gonna get the money.
Yeah, and looks like he did.
He's gonna get the money.
We found out today, literally just 2 hours before we
went on air.
And on air, actually, Elon Musk secures $46.5 billion in funding to buy Twitter. This is official. It's in writing. He has secured it. Musk himself is committed to put up $33.5 billion, which will include $21 billion of equity and $12.5 billion of margin loans to finance the transaction. Banks, including Morgan Stanley, have agreed to provide another $13 billion in debt secured against Twitter itself, according to the filing. Twitter was not immediately available for comment. And Musk's latest move comes after Twitter failed to respond to his initial offer and adopted a poison pill to thwart the billionaire's effort to buy the social media platform for $43 billion. Musk's self-described free speech absolutist has said the social media company needs to be taken private to grow and become a platform for free speech.
The poison pill thing irks me to my core.
How does it?
It is such an irresponsible move for every investor. Go ahead.
For full transparency, do you own any Twitter stock?
No.
Okay, cool.
I own none.
Sounds good.
But if I had put $1 or $100 million into a company, I have the right to vote as a shareholder. But this decision's being made for you. And it was one that disadvantageously affects Elon Musk and existing shareholders. So the board is not operating in the best interest of its shareholders. Now, there's this rule that I forget the name of that basically any corporate body has a board of directors, and they can pretty much do whatever they want. They don't actually have to have the investor's best interest in mind. Or they do, but it's arbitrary. They say it is. They say this is the best, and that there's no repercussion, which I think is just insane. Because the right thing to do in terms of returning to your investors is to sell Twitter for 30% above current stake.
Right. Yeah, that's a great deal.
That's the right fiscally. That's the right thing to do for your investors. Mm-hmm. And they're not, and they're doing wrong by them.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about all this is it's exposing a lot of the rot that's in Twitter and like a lot of these bigger bodies.
Clearly, Twitter is run by a bunch of friggin' hippies. Like, that is crazy.
It's like it's a war of ideology right now, right? Like it's clearly
this is about business. When did business no longer become a business? It's about making money.
Yeah, not anymore, because Twitter represents something more than business now, right? It's seen as literally it's the one ring to rule them all type of situation.
I
right?
know.
If someone owns it, you can control what the masses think and say.
I know.
That's crazy stuff, right? And so there's some people who just love that power and they want to hold on to it and they want to keep manipulating minds for whatever they want to, right?
And who's to say Elon Musk could be doing this with the most evil intent?
Yep.
But he's got now clearly the actual money to do it. And so whether or not I like it or you like it, the business should be allowed to happen.
Right. Yeah. Like
I'm more of a what it stands for type of point of view.
Oh, and I totally understand that. I think it just comes back to my point too, was like, there's one or two things that are going to happen if Elon pulls this off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten himself into a huge mess as it is. Like, either they say no and they look really bad and like legal action can be taken against Twitter for it.
Yeah.
Or they say yes and now Elon takes it over.
Yeah.
And it either does well,
yeah,
or it collapses. Either way, I hope one of the two things happen. I wish Twitter's disappear tomorrow. I would be so happy about it.
Me too.
And for this point exactly, I'm going to send something here to good old.
His name's Philip.
No, I'm not talking about Philip. Let's get my face. I hate you. I'm just going to chuck it in the note here and we can play it. But like, this is just brought everything about what Twitter is, and it really bothered me.
Oh no, I'm nervous because they stand for a lot of stuff I don't appreciate. Let's see.
Yeah, but it's just encapsulate if that's what I'm looking for. Encapsulate everything. This is the Trevor Noah show.
Okay. Yeah.
You're looking at old tweets that Trevor Noah posted.
Okay.
Wow, what an insightful tweet this is. Happy Friday to all my followers. Oh, wow. Thank you for this poignant message. What a modern day Shakespeare. I wouldn't have thought of celebrating my Fridays until I read this.
But it would make the people happy. It's just like, it's like Happy Friday, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not what you do on Twitter, okay? Twitter is for hate.
True.
Okay? You don't post this stuff, you gotta be controversial. You should say something like Fridays are racist.
That's the most ridiculous thing. Fridays are not racist.
Now we're talking about it.
No, Fridays are not racist.
Fridays are
racist.
Yes, this powers me.
No, hey.
Yes.
Fridays are not racist. You can't just say
Fridays
it.
are racist. Engagement.
He said engagement
with the racist engagement. But it was just like, that's exactly what Twitter is. That's what it's become. It's literally a place to just dunk on people, hate on people, and nothing else. Like there's nothing encouraging it brings to my soul and my life.
I get a Twitter notification.
Yeah.
It literally, it's how do you say? There's nothing worse, I would say, for my mental health than finding like a Twitter thread of people going back and forth and just being cruel to each other.
Yeah.
That is hard to look at.
Yeah,
and that's all it is. So now I follow 3 accounts, and one is Twitter, and the other 2 are Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency, and then the account that will quote tweet them and explain what's happening because they have a radio.
Dang.
That's all I want from Twitter.
That's awesome.
And everything else, I think, is just cruel. People on that app are cruel.
Dude, it's weird what it's turned into.
And the Taliban are allowed to have an account. And somehow that's okay. Out of all the censorship, that's who they're not going to censor?
Oh, man.
I cannot get past that.
I don't know about you, dude, but the Taliban has done no wrong, dude.
Yeah, nothing. I can't think of a thing.
No. Can you think of it, Philip?
Not a single one.
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
No, disregard what we mentioned earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
You know? So.
True.
Like how do you, I don't get it. So even if Elon Musk was buying it to close it down, I'd be good with it.
I'd be so happy with that.
That would be such an iconic move too.
That'd be so
to
gangster.
burn $43 billion just to close Twitter.
Yeah.
And just let everyone go. It's no longer.
It's not a thing.
Gone.
Ugh.
No, that's not fair.
That's my dream.
The work, like the staff don't deserve to lose their, they did nothing wrong.
No,
they are just doing their job. They need to be paid.
Nope.
Just fire the board.
Fire the board, get rid of them.
Yep.
I disagree.
Use the, why?
Burn it all to the ground.
Josh, please.
No, I'm dead
These
serious.
people have families.
Okay, they live in freaking San Francisco. They can find another tech job. It's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah, burn it down.
It's just like I'm not just talking about the board. The company itself, I'd say the majority of the company itself is filled with like ideologues.
Right.
And I'm like, it's so
Yeah,
infected.
I wouldn't thrive in a Twitter office.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like just like not a lot of people would.
Because I'm very much we're not friends. This is transactional at work.
Yeah.
Where I think Twitter's like, we are all going to go on like bar crawls and become one big happy family where I control everyone. Like I feel like that's the vibe.
Right.
Well, that's why these tech companies fill their offices with everything so cool and fun. They want you to never leave.
No, man, never. Stay in, just keep working. That's
Yeah.
what you do. I'm a huge believer in that. I don't want no one having life outside of what they do for me.
Yeah, no, yeah. Your work is life. Work for Twitter.
Yeah.
And work for Twitter only.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like the reason why I'm saying this because that's personally what I've seen. But secondly, like
it's pretty easy to tell.
Like look at the product.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to tell. I know.
Like you reap what you sow, right? So
absolutely.
Or here it is. But we're coming to the end of the show. And before we finish off, first off, as a reminder, there is a Google form attached down below. If you have a question you want answered, if you have something you want to say about what we talked about today, would love to hear it. We're all open here. We will select our favorite ones from that Google form, and we will talk about it next week on the show.
Yep.
Speaking of comments on the show, we have the roast of the week coming right up. So my post about, I was kind of relaying a message from a Halifax real estate agent here in the city, saying Haligonians need to, change their mindset a little bit when it comes to housing. If they really want to get in, there's some things. The situation sucks. I get it.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't that way, but this is how you play within what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like that. And one man person says,
don't assume.
Bro says churro in quotes and spelled it CHURRO. And a woman by the name of Kalasha Shannon says, this is the roast of the week. That's how it's pronounced. He actually got one thing right. Shout out you, you're awesome. That was a good burn. I like that one.
I hope they're a homeowner.
Yeah. I hope they are a homeowner. Seriously, it'd be interesting. So, anyways, good one. We love it when I only got one thing right, and that was pronouncing churro. So
Yeah, apparently
here we
there
go.
wasn't a single other tidbit.
I was speaking out of my butt.
That's right.
So we love you guys all so much. So
What a
whatever
random
you-
episode.
I know.
What the? We were everywhere. Yeah, we just kind of let loose on this one.
Yeah, this is a good one, and we look forward to the comments.
This is like the Sunday Scaries as a podcast. Just like a bunch of nothing.
There's a Google survey down below. No, not a survey, but there's going to be a Google form down below.
Actually,
we
we're
want to hear
using
from
Twitter
you.
surveys only
Yeah.
now.
So whatever it is you're doing, whether you're going on a magic carpet ride,
Or buying Twitter.
We're getting canceled.
True.
whatever it is you're doing,
Wherever you are,
we love you.
we're out.
Peace.